proof is in the pudding, as they say. So, and I did click a live button, so it should be going live. And
Okay.
we'll get in here, make sure that the video is actually working, the audio is actually working, because you didn't
Okay.
Facebook. I think it is. I can hear us even. Awesome. I think we're good. So everybody, welcome. So excited to be jumping on here with Kim, and Kim's not only looking super comfortable here in her awesome cardigan, right? This is considered a cardigan, I do believe.
Yeah, it's my Beth Dutton,
Oh yeah,
party.
Beth. Yeah, yeah. I remember Yellow, which I still have not watched. I
Oh,
was on a flight to LA, and I thought because I think they had it was one of the options, but I had been wanting to like watch was Interstellar. I've wanted to watch Interstellar.
I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, it was good. I saw that, so I ended up watching Interstellar. What's up, Kakai? Kakai's joining, which I met Kakai in LA, so I'm glad he's in here. Got a few other people joining in. What's up, everybody? Welcome. We're going to be talking with Kim about her rankings and her inquiries and her bookings and all the good Google stuff, and we're going to go deep on that. And so if you're joining in, you're excited, let me know where you're watching from. Go ahead and go into the comments. This is a live stream. So guys, the cool thing about it is you can ask questions as we go along. If this was pre-recorded and just on YouTube, then of course you couldn't do that. But this is a live stream. So you get to like interact, ask questions as we go along. What's up, Ariel? Happy New Year to you as well. Good to see you. What's up, Sonia? I think it's Sonia, right? Like Sonja. That's Sonia, right, Kim? Are you an expert on names?
That's Sonia. Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
cool. I have an aunt that's named Sonia, but I've never seen her spell her name. I've never met another Sonia until now. What's up, Joe? What's going on? Watching from where I would like to be, which is Key West. I would like to.
Oh, so jealous. I love Key West.
I know. I think I've only been there once, and it was years ago. And it was the Keys. Is the Keys Key West, or is that two different things?
You have to go through the Keys, and then the Key West is like the last chunk of all the Florida Keys. That's like the big island at the very end. So you'll go through like a bunch of keys, and then you'll cross the 7 Mile Bridge, and then you'll get to the very end, which is like Key West.
I'm getting educated here. I've probably never been there then because I don't think I went that far. So Joe, I'm gonna have to come visit you sometime down in the Keys. Gotta go ahead and invite myself out there and show me around, show me what to do out there. What's up, Raul? Good to see you watching from Dallas. Awesome. Heather also dropping a happy new year. Happy New Year, guys. So excited that we got another. I know I used to not be big on New Year's, but I don't know why. For some reason this year, I'm not even like set a New Year's resolution or anything, but for some reason this year, I'm feeling really renewed and excited about 2024. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm just excited, and I don't know why. It's something weird. You guys let me know if you kind of get into the whole New Year thing or not. I've never gotten into it before until this year. Never. And this year, me and my kids, we had each kid make a vision board. So they said, I said, hey, take a piece of paper and what you want out of 2024, I just want you to write it down. It was awesome seeing my 7-year-old. He wanted 5 feet of snow. He was very specific about the exact measurement of snow that he wanted. The kids did that, and then we printed all that, like made pictures of each thing, printed it out, slapped it on a little cork board, and then they got those hanging up in their room. So I'm excited for them. So let's dive in. Kim, you're at least today, and I'm gonna explain this. Today you're number 2. Oh man, you're spot number 2 on Google.
Darn wedding wire.
Dang it. So, so you were spot number, which this happens. Google will kind of fluctuate you from spots. But what's cool is you've been spot like number 4 and 5 for what, over a year now, or about a year? How long's it been that you've been on?
About 8 months. Yeah, about 8 months.
Which is awesome. Just being on page 1 is really awesome. And you were getting inquiries. And I think you said in 2023 you did 6 figures.
Yep.
What? And there's Barb. Barb's chiming in. What's up, Barb? I just gotta let you know. Kim let me know that you all know each other. So, and welcome, Barb. Now I've been filled in here. So you hit 6 figures in 2023. What was your 2022 like? Like, I kind of want to track your growth because like helping other people see your story, your story will help them kind of, gain excitement about their own story. And I'm just really big on stories, not only for utilizing storytelling, but also like, the stories we tell ourselves affect us. And so I'd like you to share your story and just kind of give us a little bit of insight into, why you decided to look into SEO, why you reached out to us here, in the easy SEO world, and you did dream clients, you did the program. Like, just talk to me about that whole process and that growth.
Yeah, sure. So 2022, I really just worked myself to the bone. I was so wiped out and exhausted. And I mean, I'm pretty exhausted this year too, but in a different kind of way. And I knew if I didn't do something drastically different that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to keep up, this wedding photographer role. Because I was just I had to book so many weddings at kind of a cheaper price point to stay afloat. And I definitely didn't come anywhere near what I raked in for 2023. So I decided to join your program, I believe last February it was. And it was basically like my final, like, what's the word, risk that I was willing to take financially and, faithfully. And I really trusted that this was going to be my, my key to maintaining my professional status. So yeah, I mean, it was worth every penny. And it took a little while for my site to rank because I was a Pixie Set site originally, and then I had to switch everything to Show It. And that just took longer for me to catch up. But by May, I woke up one day and I checked the app, and boom, there I was. I was shocked. I was on page 1. And
so from February is when you started.
Yeah.
February, March, April, May. So 90 days from the day that you joined, which you probably didn't do everything right away, right? It was kind of...
No, it took me some time to transfer everything from Pixie Set to Show It. So that whole process delayed me a bit. So yeah, springtime, it finally happened. I was waking up every day and checking my app and, and I just, there it was. It was just one day it just appeared. It was finally there. So, and I kind of, for the last 8 months, I've been rotating between spot 4 and spot 5, like I said. And just recently, literally on Christmas morning, I realized I was literally in spot 1 above Wedding Wire. And
what a nice Christmas gift.
So yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Well, and we're going to talk about, just because we're going to keep talking about your story a little bit, but guys, I also want you to know, we're going to go in to some, I'm going to open it up here in a little bit for Kim to maybe even give you some insight and tips if you're working on your SEO. So just to kind of future pace what we're going to be talking about here, but Kim, continue the story of, so you started in February working on your SEO. 90 days later, you're ranking on Google, but you were in that place where you were using Pixie Set. And now I want to say this because we've probably got some people watching. And you guys let me know in the comments, like what website building platform are you on? You guys go into the comments, let me know. Are you on Show It? Are you on Pixie Set, WordPress, Squarespace? What are you on? Drop it into the comments. What made you decide to switch from Pixie Set? And again, I'm not telling anybody they have to switch. You don't necessarily have to switch, but there's probably a reason that you personally made that decision to switch. So what did it for you? What was the thing that said, I'm going to switch away from Pixie Set?
Well, you recommended Show It as one of your favorites, and just comparing the platforms. I mean, Pixie Set was so limited at the time, as far as what I was going to be able to do with SEO, and H1 headers and all those things. And I mean, obviously, Show It was kind of constructed to be SEO friendly, so it was a no-brainer. I mean, I was willing to just go for it. I really liked the platform and the visual, flexibility of Show It as well. You can really make it your own, versus Pixie Set was so just standard and there were only so many templates, and it just wasn't very versatile. So it was really a no-brainer for me to make the decision. It was a little bit of a learning curve figuring out Show It, but at the end of the day, it's definitely paid off, using that platform on mobile and on desktop.
Yeah.
It did take me a while to convert everything over, though. That's why there was kind of a delay in my timeline.
So if you would have started with Show It, how long, once you got everything up on Show It, how long from then did it take you to actually rank on Google?
About 60 days.
Okay.
I would say
About 2 months.
about 2 months. Yeah. And I wasn't, I was going through the steps in your program pretty regularly. Um, I was busy this past spring, but I would say I was, logging plenty of hours each week. I probably could have gotten it done a little faster, but still, I was pretty impressed with the 60-day or
Oh, that's
90-day.
awesome. Well, I mean, because what you've done is you've taken these, as you said, a risk, right? Of saying, okay, hey, look, something's got to change because I'm wearing myself out, not hitting the revenue I want to hit. Which do you recall about where you were in 2022 revenue?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely like in the 70-ish per year range. Not terrible, but I was basically exhausting all my options as far as getting leads. Like I had tried so many different Facebook and Instagram ads, and word of mouth used to be a lot better when I was cheaper. But as I've gotten more experience and my work has improved, the word of mouth isn't quite as useful as it used to be. When friends of friends hear my pricing, now they're like, "Whoa, what?" But that's when I knew. I was like, "Okay, I've got to get this Google thing figured out. I've got to get this SEO figured out because there really is no guarantee that any of these other platforms are gonna continue to work. Like, the Facebook ads, again, I was not attracting the type of client I really wanted at the level that I'm at now as a wedding photographer. Everyone just wanted it cheap and quick and, price hunting and price shopping. They really didn't care to get to know me as a photographer. So, now it's nice to be able to open up your inquiries and quote what you're worth and know that, you're probably going to convert 20 to 30% of them.
That's
at least.
awesome.
Hopefully.
That's awesome. So you've gotten to where essentially not only have you gotten into the 6-figure range, but also it's the quality of client that you've improved and the price at which you're selling it on average. What was sort of like your average price point in say 2022 versus what you've worked up to back in?
I was around the 4,000 mark, give or take. Anywhere between 3,800 to 4,200, depending on, how long the second shooter was going to stay and yada, yada. Now, I've crossed the $5,000 threshold. And since Christmas morning, when I was actually in the number one spot, I've received since Christmas morning 8 inquiries. I've already booked one of those at the $5,200 price point, and I have 2 that I recently just got off the phone with. Over the last 2 days, I have 2 that I've spoken to that sounded very ecstatic, and we're just gonna, sort some things out and get back to me. So, in what's today, the 1st or the 2nd. So in a week, I've already spoken to 3 couples and had 8 inquiries since Christmas Day. So the difference between being in spot 4 and 5 versus at the very top has really been drastic. Truly, like I didn't think it would be that big of a difference. Honestly, I really didn't. I mean, I was excited to be up there, but I didn't really think it was going to make that much of a difference.
It can be a significant difference. Yeah. I mean, because you can go from, say, the amount of clicks that you get versus how many people are searching. So your CTR can go from, anywhere from, 1 to 3. Sometimes you can get up to 3-4% or so. But once you hit spots like 1, 2, even 3, you might start getting 10, 15, 20. I've even seen as high as like 30, maybe even a little bit more percent of the total clicks. Once you get, especially in spots 1 and 2, you can get a drastically larger amount of clicks. And so you're seeing some of that. What's funny to me is it's not like it was Christmas and then some inquiries. You're saying, did you get inquiries on Christmas Day?
I did.
That's insane. So people are getting engaged, like, I got to find a photographer.
I had 2 reach out to me Christmas Day.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So, because some people are probably watching, go, well, I'm not ranking. I'm wondering what's possible. Right. So this is really cool because, and to give an idea, your search volume monthly for a single keyword, I think, is around 480 searches per month, which there's multiple different keywords. But just to put in that perspective, like there's some places where they've got 1,000 searches. Ariel's watching. I think Ariel out in LA, I think she's got 1,000 searches per month for just one keyword. And so what's cool is even in a market where you don't have tons of traffic compared, because you're in Baltimore. So, which is pretty competitive.
I'm trying to look it up right now, actually. I'm looking it up.
Yeah. I think it's 480 for like one keyword. And what I'm going to do, because I made this calculator, I just got to figure out where my actual link is. I'm going to But it's good to, if you're in a place where like, I wonder what's possible. I'm going to give you guys the link as soon as I can find it here for calculating how much revenue you can make per how much traffic you have in your particular market. And that is, if you've not done that, you should do that keyword research using a tool like Uber suggests. Take that calculator and start plugging your numbers. Like I said, once I just got to get my link, and it's not, normally it auto populates in my URL area, and it's not. So I'm like, dang it. I'm unprepared, but I'll get it here in a second and I'll share that with you guys. But it's really good and so eye-opening once you start playing with those numbers, because you can begin to see what's possible. And I think, like for Kim, and you might disagree with me or agree with me, Kim, but there's probably a point at which you and I went over your numbers and you're like, this is what I need to do. Do you recall that moment?
Yeah,
like,
definitely. Yeah.
Like this is it. The numbers are there. The only reason I'd not do this is not because it's not there and possible. The only reason to not do it would be fear. Did you have that moment?
Yes, for sure. Like
what got you over that moment?
Yeah, you did. Part of it was being wintertime. I wasn't overwhelmed with editing my fall weddings, and the holidays had passed, and I really knew I wanted to take the January, February, time to really just take some steps back, figure this out. And, I was in the mental space to like take a risk at that time because I wasn't so overwhelmed with work at the moment. And I think that really helped too. So I went for it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you're right. It was 480 for the monthly search for my number one ranked term is 480 a month here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that's kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can get, 8 inquiries in
a week
is pretty awesome. Again, I really don't even consider this full blown engagement season yet. Like probably here in the next week or so, I would anticipate you even get more, because you've got more people that are starting to go, okay, yeah, because they're probably going, okay, we need to book our planner or a wedding venue, or they're kind of doing those things first.
Correct.
So the fact that you're already getting those just shows the power of what happens when you show up page one. Here's another question I think it will be relevant for our viewers. And you guys, you can think of your own questions. If you've got some questions for Kim, we already had Kayla asking about, well, what's your keyword? I've replied to you there. It's Baltimore wedding photographer and related keywords. So when we help people rank, they rank for not only just one keyword, they rank for multiple, sometimes thousands of keywords. So, are you blogging constantly?
Am I blogging?
Yeah. Like, are you blogging all the time? Just blogging?
No, God, no. You guys, I have been such a slacker when it comes to keeping my site going for the past couple of months. I've just been shooting weddings and holiday photos, and that's what I wanted to kind of add is like, I could be doing so much more to my site right now to help my rankings, and I'm just not right now, but that's why I'm kind of amazed I bumped into spot one. But, I know I need to get on full story more often and figure out where I'm losing people and where people might be like, falling off my site and what I could be doing better. I'm sure I could be blogging more, but the beauty is I haven't really had to. My backlinking, I'm sure, is probably starting to really catch up, because I did do the podcast that Jeff recommended. I did record some podcast episodes, and I know those take a while to catch up, and I'm sure those have something to do with it too, because they finally probably got spidered, because I did mine on Spotify. But the backlinks make a huge difference. But no, I'm not blogging at all.
Okay.
I should be.
Well, I highlight that because it's especially when people either they're brand new to SEO, or they've done some program that's like, oh, here's how you do SEO. You got to throw keywords in it and then blog until your fingers bleed. We just see that strategy doesn't create these sorts of results. And so, no matter how many times I say it, it's invariable that I still have people coming to me saying, if I ask them, or even if I don't ask, they go, yeah, I'm trying to blog a lot. I'm doing all this stuff I'm supposed to. And I'm like, you don't have to do that, because we see people rank and they increase in their rankings over time without ongoing blogging or maintenance. And that's what you're saying here.
Amen. Amen. I have been the biggest slacker when it comes to this website since September, because of all the weddings I just had to shoot and edit and the holidays. So, the fact that it's still working and still, I'm climbing still is kind of amazing, and was a sweet surprise to see that on Christmas.
And you're not constantly doing stuff.
God, no.
This is a good lesson, guys. And anybody within earshot of my voice, I want you to hear this. To be a successful photographer, you don't have to do all the stuff. And I say this and I drill it and I drill it, or I try to run it into the ground, because there's so many educators. I'm not saying they're bad, but there's so many educators out there that are saying, well, you need to do this. Here's how you can, do Instagram, and here's how you can do ads, and here's how you can do a Facebook group, and here's how you can do all these different things. And I think a lot of people go, well, if I'm going to hit 6 figures and have a thriving business, I need to do more. But what it sounds like to me, based on what you've said so far, Kim, is you've done less and gotten more results.
Yeah, sure. Like, and granted, like, I know that I need to maintain these backlinks, and I have, poked around and, gotten a few more backlinks over the past couple of months, but that's pretty much it. Like, this is kind of a set it and forget it in a way platform, because, it kind of keeps working for you, especially once you're ranked high. You just maintain it. Isn't it true? Like, the higher you continue to rank, like, the longevity of you being ranked helps you stay ranked. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So the big key to that, again, this is a pro tip for you guys. The reason why Kim keeps increasing in her rankings, even though she's not doing constant maintenance, is because she's set up a system that is aligned with Google's long-term perspectives. And so therefore Google wants to rank her not based on the volume of activity, such as blogging, not based, like, here's another one. It's also not based on, like, your site speed, probably. Like, did you do a bunch of work to get your website super fast?
No, I know SEO Quake I think it's Quake. Yeah. It says, like, I'm a little slower, like, with JavaScript stuff happening or something. And I never really did much to fix that. And I did not reduce the size of my images and stuff. It seems to run just fine. It doesn't seem to be, doesn't seem to take too long to load or anything. So,
right. That's the stuff, again, people come in and they're saying, yeah, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. And it's usually, I've thrown keywords at my website. I'm trying to get my website speed faster. I'm blogging all the time. And you guys, let me know, what's some of the other stuff you hear? And this for you guys watching, what's some of the stuff that you hear people saying you need to do in order to rank on Google? Because I love sort of like having a real life situation, a case study here with Kim, who's right now spot number 2. Tomorrow she might be spot number 1 again. She was spot number 1. And again, you'll see some variations and it'll sort of bounce around as Google plays with the algorithm. But you haven't done that stuff. You're not doing that stuff.
No.
And you're still ranking in Baltimore is not like some no man's land. And the lesson there, because how many people come to me and say, oh, well, I'm going to target easier keywords, and they avoid the high competition keywords. Did you avoid high competition keywords?
No. It's hard to say. I know I chose Baltimore over Maryland wedding photography. Baltimore was a little easier. The SEO difficulty for this keyword is 18 for Baltimore wedding photographer. And I think Maryland was like up in the 40s. So I definitely went with the one that would have basically that ratio of highest volume potential versus the easiest way to rank. I think that was, a strategy we decided would be the best. And 480 is nothing to slouch at a month. That's.
Well, and I'm going to screen share and show this too, because here's a big key. Here's a big secret, guys. Ranking for multiple keywords, right? And I am going to suggest, if you don't have to do this because it sounds like you're already hitting your goals, but one of the things I love to do when we do these case studies and you get to share, these awesome results that you've gotten, I also like to give you tips for where I think you have greater opportunity.
Please. Yes. I definitely need that.
So this is a good spot to dive into that a little bit, because like you are ranking. So like Baltimore wedding photographers right now, you're number 3.
Right.
Again, that can kind of fluctuate from day to day.
Of course, the not wedding wire above me. God.
Yeah. So you're the first photographer that shows up.
I'm basically the first photographer. Okay.
You're the first photographer there. You probably, let's see, Baltimore wedding photography, because these are different searches. A lot of times people don't realize that some people will search for a photographer. Some will search for photographers. Some will search Baltimore wedding photography.
Yeah, I think I'm number 4.
Number 4,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you got random urban road photo up here. So this is a good opportunity for you to start dominating some of that.
Yeah.
Like starting to boost yourself up for some of those other supportive key, which are already on page 1. But again, just imagine if you start also inching up into spots 1 and 2 and 3 for those other supportive keywords, because you're probably getting some decent traffic there. But I think you've got opportunity for even more. And then the other opportunity is, this is fairly new. If you didn't see what I just did, I clicked generate, like it's like the AI stuff, and I clicked generate. This is one of those things that I'm actually, you'll have access to this content, but we're getting ready here probably in the next month. Here in January, we're looking to add videos that are going to give you access to our training on how to show up in this section as well. So this is a whole new section. This is like a totally new place to rank on Google.
Wow.
And you're probably already set up nicely to start showing here. You might be showing up even if I click through here. I wouldn't doubt. We see a lot of people start to just sort of show up here. But even if you're not, yeah, there you are.
Oh, there I am.
Okay. Showing up here, but you're going to have access to start showing up in this AI section once you get access to that one module. So,
wow.
You'll see me mention some stuff about that here in the future. But guys, you should be looking to rank also in the AI section. Some of the tips there are, we found that if you're doing things that get you mentioned by other websites, that tends to do really good here, helping you show up in the AI section. So again, that's a few tips for you. Again, just kind of like next steps, because I think your big opportunity now is continuing to raise your prices.
Yeah, it is.
You're just going to get more and more inquiries, and you're going to get more and more choosy, and you're going to get to play more dangerous, which Ariel, I don't know if Ariel's still watching or not, but she can tell you, that was kind of how she went from that, 3,000 to like 6,000, 8,000. I think she's targeting 10K plus now, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
You just get these inquiries, and you're like, okay, I've got too many inquiries. What do I do? And so your options are, number one, increase your average spend per customer, right? And we've seen people charge above 10,000 doing this sort of stuff. But then also, and this isn't for everybody, but if it is you, beginning to, like, let's say you're already booked for a date, or if you just know someone's not got the budget, they're just not going to budge, and they're like willing to spend 3,000 or 4,000, that's where you start bringing in associate shooters.
Yeah.
Right. And that drastically increases how much you can make in your business. And you don't have to shoot those. And I just think in the age of AI, where you can edit using, AI software, there's some good ones out there now, Filter Pixel, Imagen, Aftershoot, etc. I mean, you've got the ability to edit and really build a team. And
yeah.
So once that's the two things, as you start to get more and more inquiries and you start to show up in even some spots, increasing your revenue through raising your price, your average spend, and then also, and an easy way to do that, if you haven't done this yet, Kim, is just make sure that you have packages that are like ridiculous to you. Like, who would book this? Because guess what? Somebody will.
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Approach. So do you have that? Do you have your your excessive package yet?
Not really.
You should do that.
Okay.
I call it my golden cheeseburger approach because I went to a restaurant and I think it was in Miami, and it's called, I've forgotten now. It's like the Sugar Factory. Anybody been to the Sugar Factory? I think one of the Jenners owns it, if I remember correctly. And they have it's a burger restaurant primarily. And they've got these, $18 burgers, which is already fairly expensive, at least for my neck of the woods. And as I was going down through the menu, I was like, okay, these are cool. But then I saw that they have a gold leaf wrapped cheeseburger. And they put a sparkler in a milkshake. And the milkshake is like wrapped in gold. And they bring it out to Bruno Mars' 24 Karat song. And it's a big deal, right?
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And they charge $150 for that. And it's like, that gold leaf probably cost them maybe $3.
Yeah, right.
And yet now they've almost 10x'd somebody's spend. And so every business should have a golden cheeseburger offer for two reasons. One, because some people will buy it. Number two, it also makes every other price under it seem way cheaper. And then number three, it just makes you more like, oh my gosh, she has a, $15,000 package or $20,000 package or $30,000 package. So even for the people who don't book it, it actually makes you seem more authoritative and professional to the people that don't book it. And so it's another way to build some authority with people that are looking at your pricing. And so that's another opportunity. The other one that I'd recommend is, don't shy away from also targeting Maryland.
Yeah.
I would add in Maryland and get a hold of that traffic as well. And I was looking it up, and really, so looking at Baltimore.
I'm in spot 20 something for Maryland wedding photography.
So you're already like almost, well, you're page 2 for Maryland.
Yeah.
So, and have you really even been working on it?
No. Nope.
So that's another cool thing. Like now Google's already trusting you so much that for you to rank for multiple locations is now easier. I, for the heck of it, made a Tampa wedding photographer page like last week. And I haven't checked it today, but like last week it was in the like 40s, I think.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good already.
In Tampa, Florida. I was just like, well, I go there a lot. Like, why not? Let's just give it a shot. And so it could take you a week or two.
Yeah, no, I have the page made. I've made it to say Maryland Wedding Photography is my H1 header. And yes, so I kind of converted and cloned the homepage already for Maryland, but I haven't really given it any TLC since I did that. Okay. And I haven't really gone in and nurtured like the supportive keywords and stuff and kind of finagled all that.
Okay.
And re-alt tagging. I mean, would I need to re-alt tag the images too? Or
here's the big mistake that people make when they're trying to rank for multiple locations. A lot of times they will leave alt tags on images that will still say their other locations. So for instance, they'll have again, in your case, a Maryland wedding photographer page. And on that page, it will have alt tags that say Baltimore.
Right. That's what my question was. I should be changing them, right?
You should be changing them.
Yeah, that's what I haven't done yet.
So yes, so you got some signals that might be confusing Google there. And that's something you could do that might even help you rank better for Baltimore.
Yeah.
Because Google could have some confusion there and it could be hurting your ranking, even though
right.
It might boost up into that, solid spot 1. It might boost some of the spots 4 up to spot, 1, 2, 3. And so you've got a massive opportunity there as well. The other thing that I think you should look into doing more effort on is your Google business profile. Because that can like double your inquiries.
Yeah. There's something going on with my Google business profile that I can't quite figure out. It just won't rank. Like I can't ever find myself. And I know I'm getting views. I see that I'm getting views, but I can never find myself when I'm looking. I just don't show up in any of the early, the top 20. I'm just not even there, it seems like.
Yeah. So here's what you do with that. There's a few things. If I can make some suggestions. You okay with me making some suggestions?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Number one, you've got videos on that, like new videos that I bet you have not watched inside of your membership area. So I would go and watch the ones on Google Business Profile Optimization because they've made some changes, like the last 6 months to a year. So I would go and review that. Number two, a strategy that you can use is if after you even make those optimizations and, it's been a couple months, you're still not seeing it show up in the top 3, you can potentially look at, do you have a Baltimore address?
It's not technically Baltimore. It's Owings Mills, Maryland.
So believe it or not, Google loves to see an exact match. But here's the other thing. You may find that it's easy to rank your Google business profile for Maryland.
Okay.
In Maryland. You're not technically in Baltimore. Right. So if you optimize your Google business profile more so for Maryland, probably see it more effective than and this is another one of those nuanced things that a lot of times people miss because they're like, well, I'm trying to rank for Louisville, Kentucky, but I actually live in Shepherdsville. That's my situation, right? So if you focus it on state, you might actually yourself show up more than if you focus on the specific city. And in this case, good traffic. And here's what I was going to show you real quick. Your SEO difficulty for Baltimore wedding photographer is 37. And then for Maryland, it's only 38.
Oh, what was I looking at? Baltimore wedding photographer. I thought it was 18.
Yeah. I mean, used to have been. Like, it could have been a while back, and then
Just
Google
kidding.
saw you, and you know, all of a sudden, like, oh man, it's getting hard to rank. So now that Kim's showing up, um, so that's another thing. CPCs is, which is your
Oh,
cost.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the paid difficulty. Just kidding.
Yeah. So what's cool is people are willing to pay more if they're paying for ads, which you're not. That's okay, but this is a representation typically of how difficult how valuable the keyword is. So it actually be better quality leads to target Maryland in addition to Baltimore. With Baltimore, you may find that your Maryland photographer searches are higher paying customers as well.
Right.
So helping you increase your average spend per customer. So that's another thing. But again, I mean, Baltimore's at 37, Maryland's at 38. I think a big opportunity for you is that Maryland wedding photographer. And you were also doing, you were doing some boudoir. Are you doing family?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the boudoir, I just want everyone to know, I basically took my boudoir website, which is a Wix site, and I basically just applied all the same principles to it that I did with the wedding site. I figured out what my spearhead keyword should be, which is Baltimore boudoir photographer, I believe. Anyway, long story short, it did not take very long for that site to start ranking, and now I'm in spot 4 or 5 right now. And I don't give that site as much love as the wedding site because, weddings are my bread and butter. But it did not take long for that Wix site to pop up on page 1 organically for that spearhead keyword. So, you really can take all of these principles and apply it to a completely different niche and, still see the same results, obviously. So, yeah.
Yes. And that's I'm so glad you made that point, because we get people regularly, they're like, this was awesome, but, I've got a friend that's a wedding planner or a florist, or I've got a friend that's, doing construction, or, like, we have people that are like, I kind of want to recommend this person to the group, but they're not photographers. And what I tell people is it'll work for construction. Yeah. There's some nuance, because like you got to translate it a little bit, but it's the same general principles, because we're focusing on human nature and human communication and these things that Google's looking at, the psychology. And so, guys, you always feel free to recommend people that are wedding planners or whatever they may be into the group, because it'll work. And same with family, same with boudoir, all that stuff. But it's so awesome that you're not only ranking for wedding photography related keywords, but boudoir photography. And so your other opportunity is, two things. One is you could also, if you're not already ranking for like, maternity photographer, Maryland, Baltimore, family photographer, Baltimore, Maryland, etc. You could also rank for some of those keywords. And then the final one, in addition to that, is targeting like Maryland photography or Baltimore. So the general one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
General. Yeah.
And then, because what happens is people that are searching for a wedding photographer, sometimes they'll just search for a Maryland photographer.
Right.
And those can be extra bookings. But they can also turn it, you'll get some people looking for a family photographer or a boudoir photographer or whatever. And so that's another opportunity for you. I know I'm throwing a lot at you here, but that's what I like to do. I like to say, you got so much, what you've done is awesome. You're page 1, you're hitting your goals. But I think you've even got more room for growth. And because you've already done so well, Google's going to trust you for those other things.
Yep. Right. That's the longevity of you staying at the top. Just helps you in the long run, because the longer you're there, the longer you're trusted.
Yeah.
Right.
You got it. Okay. So, and I haven't even been looking at the comments. So if y'all didn't comment, that's fine. But I do want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments or questions.
Hi, Barb. Is Barb still with her?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know if she's still with us or not. Ariel's still with us. She says LA current search volume is 1,900. So it's gone up. Because I think when Ariel started, LA was getting around 1,000 searches per month, if I remember correctly. So 1,900 is nice. And then she said, yes, targeting 10K plus, which is awesome. I don't know, Ariel, are you doing associates? I keep bugging her about doing associates because, every time I talk to her, she's like, yeah, I'm getting plenty of inquiries. And I'm like, when you going to be doing associates? And photographers, it's tough for us. But, I think we like keeping it like very, we like having control and not giving control up. And I'm that way too, guys. but I remember when my mind changed in regards to associates when I had a couple people that I had trained how to shoot, and they're pretty good at it. And I had them shoot a wedding that was a little bit cheaper. I think it's always good to test people out as like a second shooter, test them out as a like on a more budgety wedding, just to give like low stakes. You know what I'm saying? Like low stakes, but you've trained them. They understand what to do. They've shadowed you. And so I had that. I had a couple people, and then I had an inquiry that I'd love to work with them. And I was on the phone with them, and they told me the date, and I was like, shoot, we're booked, but we have an associate that can shoot. And they said, well, how much would it be? And I said, it'll be $4,000. And she goes, okay, send me the contract. And I was completely happy with that, because I was like, well, shoot, an extra $4,000, I can pay my shooter fairly, make some extra money, and it's awesome. And they did a great job. Ariel's got 2 associates now. Awesome. That's what I'm talking about, Ariel. Love it. You have to update me on how all that's going. I'd love to hear how your progress is there. Okay, so let's talk about like what do you think are like maybe your biggest, if somebody's just getting into SEO, they've been in the group and they're kind of like trying to figure everything out. What do you think's the most important things for them to know?
Definitely you do not need to be blogging. That's, a waste of time. One thing I definitely realized was your homepage is your kingdom. Like, you do not want to confuse Google by stacking all your other pages with your spearhead keywords. It's the homepage. It's the long scroll homepage where you want all your content to be, and the homepage needs to be that landing place. And that was interesting for me to discover, because originally I always thought you just had to fill your whole website and all the pages in it with the same keyword and supporting keywords, but that's just confusing Google and hurting you in the long run. So, number one, focus on the homepage, have it scroll with all the sections. Of course, it has to click through to other pages, but that's the number one thing that really helped me, was to just focus on the homepage, the H1 header, just have one, make sure you only have one at the top. Alt tags definitely matter. Learning how to do it right so that you're not putting in the same description in every picture, which I used to do that. I would have the same stupid description in pretty much every single photo, which is like, bride and groom, Baltimore wedding photography, which is so ridiculous. Now it's like, you have to make it specific. The definition has to be somewhat specific. And then put your Baltimore wedding photographer after that. But that all made a humongous difference. I mean, truly, like, making sure I had enough supporting keywords as well sprinkled in there. It was kind of a very delicate balance, though, getting that right. It took a while to get it right. But once you had that perfect blend of them, then the results just skyrocketed. It was SEO Quick that I was using a lot to, keep track of everything. And sometimes it'll tell you that you don't have enough spearhead keywords, that you should have more. But then, Jeff, you actually suggested I kind of chill out on some of them a little bit. And when I followed your advice, then I ranked a little bit higher, because I was listening to the SEO Quake saying you could have a lot more of the spearhead keyword, was saying it was a negative thing that I didn't have enough of them, or enough of that word stacked in there.
Right.
And you and I decided, I think you have it quite a bit, actually. You should probably reduce it a little bit and maybe add a few supporting ones instead. And that actually made a huge difference. So,
I'm glad, again, awesome point, because, this is why I try to tell people, because sometimes people come in, they go, well, Jeff, is your stuff real basic? Because, I already know about keywords and I already know about backlinks. And what I've seen is when people think they already know about keywords and the basics of SEO and headers and that kind of stuff, they are sabotaging themselves, because it's not just like basic SEO is, yes, backlinks, keywords, user experience, like that's basic stuff, but there's nuance to it based on what Google's showing us. And so, and same with Ariel's story is very similar. She can attest to that, I think. But when you and I, when we get a look at your site and we can see what Google's saying, and we can go specifically into your specific situation, we can spot stuff that is not always exactly straightforward. It's a little bit more dynamic. And so that situation is so common when it's like, hey, look, yeah, you're doing some keywords and stuff, but let's make this alteration based on what we're seeing Google respond to and see what that does. And that for you, it sounds like similar to like Ariel's situation, was a big game changer for you.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. And believe me, I could have a better user experience on my homepage right now. I know that for a fact. I'm sure I'm losing people I shouldn't be because full story, and I didn't quite get along in the beginning. I need to spend more time in there. But, basically if I nurture that more, the results are just going to be even better. So I'm super grateful I'm getting the traffic and the placement that I am.
I love it. So what do you think? The stuff that you got to cover inside the program, do you feel like you could have just YouTubed it and made it happen?
Oh God, no. No. And I mean, I really am the type of person where I have ADHD, which a lot of us do. And when I'm overwhelmed with the wedding seasons and all the stacks of editing in my brain that I have to complete, I can't focus. So it made all the difference in the world to make the decision to do it in the downtime of the winter and have the ability to really just focus on this. This is all I put my energy into for the most part. Spring came and it changed a little bit, but I had a solid 2 full months to just really just immerse myself in focusing on this. And, it was just the amount of information, and just the detail that you put into this program was everything. I mean, there's no possible way I could have YouTubed, to the extent of the value of this. I mean, there's just no way. So yeah, I was going to say something else too about that. Like, just because you're a creative person and you're also a wedding photographer makes all the difference in the world too, because most SEO, YouTube videos are, pretty generic. They're not focused on weddings and tapping into like the emotions of capturing that wedding lead specifically. And you basically cater this whole program to, just the weddings, which makes it even more, effective, on the creative side of things. So.
Absolutely. We hear that a lot too. So going back to like, because again, I think a lot of people might be in your situation where, they realize, what, I'm going to do SEO, and they've got a lot of different things that happen at that point. I mean, you start getting into it, you're like, whoa, okay, there's a lot of different voices. Some people are saying this, some people are saying that. You obviously found this group. You decided that, like, there was a moment in which you decided you weren't going to just go it alone. What made you decide to take that step?
I think my initial call with you, it just went really well. I just really felt like, and reading all of the testimonials and reviews, on your program, really just, that did it for me. And then talking to you on our intro call, I guess that's what you call it, but that sealed the deal. Like, I felt like this is the guy, like, I know this is it. These reviews are absolutely authentic. Obviously, like, I could tell that these people truly saw these changes happen for them. And, it just all clicked. And I was like, I'm going for it. That's it. Like, so that final call with you, or that first phone call that we had together before I committed, was very valuable. And seeing all the users' experiences on the Facebook group and just knowing that, it's worked for so many people.
Yeah. So what would you tell someone that is maybe in that spot where they're like, okay, enough is enough, something's got to change in my business, or maybe they're doing okay, but let's say they're in a similar spot where they're getting into SEO and they're like, maybe feeling a little bit lost, maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed. What would you tell that person?
Just don't waste the time trying to figure this out on your own. Just, it really is worth every penny of the investment, because first of all, you're going to make the money back very fast if, and when you rank. But secondly, over the long haul, the amount of work that you will not have to keep doing to keep your site up there is going to save you so much time as well, because, this isn't like you have to pay an an SEO agency every month to keep you ranked. Like once you figure all this out and you start getting that longevity with Google, you're going to stay ranked as long as you're like, still paying attention to where you're at and still getting backlinks and stuff like that. But I mean, for the most part, this is something that's going to sustain you for years down the line, and you will save yourself so much time and money, not having to keep trying to rank with some agency or figuring it out on your own with YouTube.
Yeah, and here's another pro tip for you. And by the way, guys, in the chat box, if you're one of those people that you're like, okay, this is awesome. I want the feeling of just knowing that I'm going to get it done. If you're there and you're like, okay, Jeff, just tell me the next steps to take. I'm going to put, it's a preview link. So I did a video where I just kind of preview dream clients. It is invitation only. We only have certain times where it's open enrollment. Every once in a while, we assess and we go, well, we've got some more spots open. So we do open up spots here and there. So at the bottom of this page, if you click that link, there's a button that says, join waitlist or something like that. You can get on the wait list. And when a spot opens, that just means that we go down our list, first come, first serve. So if you're on that list, then when we do have an opening, we reach out to you and see if you still want to take that step, if it's the best next step for your business. So again, there's no pressure. You're not saying yes. It's just if you want to learn more, that gets you on the list to get in the queue so that when a spot becomes open, you're rocking and ready to roll if that's the direction that you decide to go. But again, it's invitation. We'll still do a call just like Kim and I did, and see if it's really the best next step for your business. We like to do that market research. Okay, so to kind of sum it up, you were in a place where in 2022, it almost sounds like you were like, it was like something's got to change.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to be able to continue to do this full time anymore if it didn't change. So this was like my last chance to like just go all in and have full faith, like just spend the money and just go for it, and it definitely paid off. And if I can get through this program, anyone can. I am so ADHD when it comes to like courses and stuff. I'm a terrible like test taker. But I mean, I was engaged. I stayed engaged with the content. It does a great job, like keeping you engaged, and all the modules are so easy to follow, and it's really not overwhelming at all. So, I mean, if I can get through this course, anybody can get through it.
Love it. I love that, Kim. That is awesome to hear. Yeah, and I think like because I am a photographer, when I first started looking at SEO, it was like. I did the same thing probably everybody did. I started looking around, looking on YouTube, looking at content, and I quickly realized this is not written for the ADHD mind. If you're a photographer or whatever, if you're here and you think, maybe you've never been diagnosed, but you think you might be a little bit ADHD, go into the comments and let me know. Let me know. And if you're like, oh, I don't know, Jeff, if you've got more than 6 tabs open on your desktop right now or your laptop, if you have more than 6 tabs open, just go ahead and say yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And somebody's watching going, well, I've got 25 tabs open. Yeah, you're in the camp. You're officially a photographer. You're officially creative if you got 6 or more open. So you're in the right place. Sonia says yes. Harry says LMAO. Yep. Super ADHD, medicated and all. And she's fine. So yes. Yeah. And that's what we design stuff for, because guess what? You don't have to be the most attentive, best attention span person to be able to succeed. And I mean, you get into, Kim, could you imagine getting into like Google Analytics, for example, and just like trying to figure it out? Could you imagine what that might be now? All those things, it's your tips in no direction. I mean, it would be crazy because they give you so much. And the key is being able to break it down, make it simple, step by step. Okay, so we'll start wrapping up here pretty soon, guys. So if you do have some more questions, go put those questions in the chat box now. Ask Kim a question. You can ask me a question. But what's maybe sort of, to wrap it up, anything else that you would tell listeners, anything else you want to share?
This information, I think the most important thing is I'll be able to use this information ongoing for any kind of business model, any kind of website in the future. I'm not sure how long I'll be a wedding photographer for. I'm 41. It's hard on my body now. And, by the time I'm 50, I might not be doing this anymore, but I will be able to take all of this knowledge and apply it to another business model or another website. And I think that's like the most valuable thing of all is, I mean, sure, Google's going to change its rules and regulations and algorithms, I'm sure. But like, if you have the bare bones of this and you keep up with it, this is just going to stick with you for the long haul. It's really invaluable information in today's day and age. And like, I did not expect it to be as valuable. I mean, granted, I knew it would be great, but I really didn't think I'd retain it the way I did. I was like, okay, well, I'll see how this goes. I mean, I have full faith this is going to work, but we'll see if I even really understand how I got there. And I do. Like, I can clearly remember all the steps taken to get to this point and how it worked. And I did it to another website already. And so all I have to say is, this will last you for a very long time and be useful to you in all kinds of industries, not just this one.
That's awesome to hear. And again, it just goes back to the, you're installing skills.
Yeah.
Like communication skills. And most of us as photographers, I think, are good at communication. But I think this gives people, and this is like, guys, yes, it's in Dream Clients, but also this is stuff that we put out, the free content. If you're tuning into live streams, we've got a 16-page guide. I'm working. Anybody want to see a preview of the book that I'm working on? Anybody interested in see that? If you like, I geek out on this stuff. So if you guys are like, come on, Jeff, this is enough, we're bored with you, that's totally fine. But I've just been working on like a markup or a mock-up, that's the word, for a book. You guys go into the comments, let me know if you want to see the mock-up. And if not, that's fine. I'll just keep it to myself and keep on plugging away because I do what I do. But it's, if you guys are interested, I love geeking out. So I'll screen share that if you guys are interested. Just let me know in the comments. Harry says hand raised, which I think means yes. We've got the 16-page guide. We've got the podcast. There's a Easy SEO or SEO for Wedding Photographers podcast that you can look up on Spotify or Apple or all those places. There's these live streams. There's the insider membership. There's so much that if you're like, man, I'm not sure if I'm ready for a mentorship. Guys, we're putting out tons and tons of content between the live streams, the podcast, the 16-page guide, the book that I'm working on, all this stuff. And I'll screen share it for nobody else, for Harry. I'll show this to you because I think it's pretty cool. So let me screen share. But we've got so much content for you to get started. Just keep a lookout inside of the group. Let's see, I got to switch over. There's the design for it. You guys let me know what you think. This is totally
cool.
I think it looks cool. And
yeah,
I'm not sure yet. Like, I'm like, do I want to go this direction? Like, do I want to use a lens? I don't know. But I was like, for a general mock-up, I think it's pretty neat. So you guys can let me know in the comments, though. Maybe I'll totally scrap this idea and go with something else. But I just like colors. I like the warm and the cool colors. And I don't know. I think it looks cool. But you guys can give me the feedback in the comments as well, because I like feedback. But guys, I really appreciate you guys for being here. I love that we've got to bring Kim on and just hear a little bit about her story to really building a 6-figure business. And I just think you've got so much more opportunity in front of you. And I'm excited to see what you accomplish and how you keep growing. And I really don't think that you've maxed out your skills. I think you have way more potential. And yet at the same time, there's so much to celebrate because you've achieved these high page 1 rankings for many keywords. And so that's something worth celebrating. So guys, thank you for being here. Go into the comments and tell Kim, thank you for taking an hour. I think we're right on that hour mark. Thank you for spending an hour with us, just kind of sharing. And guys, I can tell you, as someone that's helped people rank, a lot of the tips that Kim has shared and that, I've talked about are super solid golden nuggets that can drastically help you in your journey to becoming an efficient wedding photographer. Guys, you can be efficient. You don't have to do all the things in order to have a successful business. You can work smarter and not harder and enjoy your business. You don't got to run ads. You don't got to, do all the things. You don't have to be posting to Instagram all the time or blogging all the time. You can make a really solid business, but you got to make that choice to become choosy and efficient. And so guys, appreciate you. Thanks, Harry. Appreciate you, Scott. Awesome. Sonia. Kim, thank you. Appreciate you joining me here on your live stream. I'm thrilled to have you. And I hope you have a awesome.
Always great to see you.
I look forward to hearing more growth stuff. Even looking forward to you messaging me and be like,
I will.
I got this new stuff coming in. So thank you so much, Kim. And I'll look forward to hearing from you here in the future.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Happy New Year. See ya.